from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Report.
Good afternoon, I'm Forecaster John Bordash with you here in the JB Weather Storm Center this afternoon, tracking our season's first winter storm as it's set to move here into the mid-Atlantic over the next 24 hours, bringing a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain to northwestern zones with a whole bunch of cold rain down to the south and east. This afternoon, we can already begin to see where our winter storm is here on William Richmond Inc. TrueView radar, bringing snow to areas like Missouri and Illinois, with cold temperatures around. We're only sitting here in the 40s in the mid-Atlantic this afternoon, and many of us are going down into the 30s overnight. The question, though, is how cold are we going to get and how long are we able to hold on to that cold, which is going to impact how much snow, sleet, or rain is going to fall in your specific area. Let's take a look here at the winter weather advisory that the National Weather Service has already issued. These areas here shaded in purple, primarily to the north and west at I-95, have this winter weather advisory from 3 a.m. to 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday. This is going to be the area that is going to be the most likely to see impactful snow, sleet, and freezing rain before a gradual transition over to rain. Generally, the further north you head, the more snow and sleet you are going to see. Let's take you here into high-resolution future view to really take a look at the timing of this system. As we head into tonight, we're going to be looking at quiet conditions across the region. But by about 3 and 4 o'clock, we begin to see snow and sleet move here into the western areas of the Shenandoah Valley and West Virginia. Snow is denoted there by the purples and the blues. Pink areas would be that wintry mix of sleet and freezing rain. And of course, your greens are going to be rain. Future view shows that we have snow here moving into northern Virginia by about 5 a.m. or so, and then beginning to move into the I-95 corridor region by about 6 or 7 in the morning. North and west of I-95, that's where you may see temperatures initially start off just below freezing, which could support some wet snow, but we can see that rain snow line has already set up by about 7 a.m. along I-95, and it's going to continue to push further north and west. And we can see that Future View does a really good job of showing that. By 9 a.m., it's showing areas of snow through northern Maryland into southern Pennsylvania. I would suspect in that area you might see a little bit of sleet beginning to mix in, and that rain snow line marches all the way up into southern PA before we see the entire system come to an end here as we head into the afternoon hours here on Tuesday. Taking a look at the big picture with this storm, I'm expecting mainly snow for far northern areas. Outside of that white shaded zone, there's going to be some degree of wintry mix involved. Areas south and east, though, you're looking at all rain, and it could be a decent bit of rain. But once you head north and west of I-95, that's where you can see that initial burst of snow and sleet before that quick transition to rain. This shows less than an inch, but that's going to be less than an inch before the rain, so you're not going to be looking at much leftover snow cover once that transition occurs. That purple zone is likely to see a few hours of snow before going to sleet and eventually rain. This is an area that could see 1 to 3 inches of snow, especially on grassy surfaces. North of there, though, once you head north of about Route 30 in southern portions of Pennsylvania, getting on up towards the Harrisburg metro area, I think 2 to 4 inches of snow is likely in that area. And in that zone, it's going to be primarily all snow, as the warm nose with this event, or those warmer temperatures, it's going to be limited with how far north it can get. But we're going to have to monitor that rain snow line to really see where we're looking at these differences with the forecast. When we talk about rain, though, we are looking at a decent bit of rain for southern zones. Areas in southern Maryland and Tidewater, Virginia, and especially the Delmarva, could see up near an inch, if not a little bit more, of rain over the duration of this storm. Again, set to begin around sunrise and going through the early to mid-afternoon hours here on Tuesday. When we look at the infamous school odds, it's kind of a complex picture with a lot of different shadings on here. Again, southeastern areas, you're likely to head to school with no impacts. The I-95 corridor, we could be looking at delays in that area thanks to that early burst of snow and sleet before the transition to rain. The further north and west you head, the more likely you are to see school delays. Areas such as Carroll County and Loudoun County, for example, are much more likely to see delays than Montgomery County because those are going to be areas that see a little bit longer of a duration with the snow and sleet. We're going to look at closings being possible once you head up towards Frederick County, Maryland, and the southern portions of Pennsylvania. I think a delay is very likely out there, but the 50-50 shot at seeing closures. The closures are going to be really dependent on how quickly that transition terrain occurs. If it happens much quicker than expected, we're just looking at delays. But if that transition can kind of stay with our timing that we're expecting now, or potentially even a little slower, I think those closures definitely could occur, and it's almost a lock for our far northwestern zones up towards areas like Cumberland County and Pennsylvania and back towards Garrett County in Maryland, where you're going to be looking at prolonged winter weather impacts through the morning into the afternoon hours. So if we had to summarize this here into just one spot, we're looking at high impacts from about Route 30 in Pennsylvania up to the north and west, from Harrisburg down towards Hagerstown, Cumberland, with York sitting right there on that line. Moderate snowfall totals of a couple inches with snow-covered roadways looking possible, especially for that morning commute. Medium impacts and impacts that start to fade a little bit as you head further south and east, thanks to that transition to rain. However, the morning commute, especially north and west of 95, could definitely be impacted as we look at this first winter weather event to move in. You're going to stay tuned to JB Weather for the latest information. I'll have updates throughout the rest of today with coverage kicking off tomorrow morning, covering all the latest information with this latest storm. So stay tuned to JB Weather and stay safe out there.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.